Hello everyone, it's Jenny from Norman S. Wright. So last week's video we talked about refrigerants and I discussed toxicity levels and global warming potential of refrigerants. Because of this, some refrigerants are being phased out or about to be phased out. So this week's video we're going to talk about refrigerant phase outs. So let's get started. In the U.S., ozone-depleting substances, ODSs, are regulated as Class 1 or Class 2 controlled substances. Class 1 substances, like chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, have all been phased out already, meaning no one can produce or import Class 1 substances. Let's touch on a little history. A hole in the Antarctic ozone layer was announced in 1985, and researchers quickly agreed that CFCs were responsible. Just 2 years later, the Montreal Protocol was agreed on, and under the Montreal Protocol, CFCs were phased out of production in developed countries in 1996 and in developing countries in 2010. Class 2 substances are all hydrochlorofluorocarbons, HCFCs, which are transitional substitutes for many of the Class 1 substances. New production and import of most HCFCs were phased out as of 2020, but the most common of the HCFCs, R22, is still in use in HVAC today. The Montreal Protocol required the U.S. to reduce its consumption of HCFCs by 99.5% below the U.S. baseline by 2020. Let me move this over so I have a little more room. Recovered stockpile or reclaimed/recycled refrigerant will be allowed beyond 2022 to service existing systems, but chemical manufacturers will no longer be able to produce R22. U.S.-Canadian regulations allow limited production for service and stockpiling for service until 2030, but on January 1, 2030, all HCFCs, including R22, will be banned. There are no restrictions against future use of HCFCs from legally stockpiled or recovered, reclaimed, recycled sources for future use, at least at this time. So that was the Montreal Protocol. Let's talk about the American Innovation in Manufacturing, AIM Act. The AIM Act became law in December 2020. It gave the EPA the authority to phase down the consumption and production of high GWP HFC refrigerants in the U.S. by 85% over the next 15 years. On January 1st of this year, 2022, the U.S. officially started its phase down of HFC refrigerants such as R410A and R404A. Beginning this year, the production of HFC refrigerants will be reduced by 10%. In January 2024, production will be reduced to 60% of the baseline established by the EPA. Okay, let's make some room. Unlike the Montreal Protocol, which phased out refrigerants because they were depleting the ozone layer, these new phase-outs are due to the fact that HFC, such as R410A and R404A, are considered to be contributing to global warming. So let's bring back the ASHRAE safety table from the last video. Safety is a big issue with these new transitions because previously both R22 and its replacement R410A were non-flammable or in safety group A1 refrigerants. But the two low GWP alternatives that are designed to replace R410A, R32 and R454B, are mildly flammable or in safety group A2L. If you remember from last week's video, refrigerants in the A2L group have low burning velocity and are very difficult to ignite. On top of the Montreal Protocol and the AIM Act, states are also approving legislation regarding refrigerants. For instance, in December 2020, California, where many of Norman S. Wright's offices are located, became the first state in the nation to adopt regulations that will phase down the use of HFC refrigerants in commercial and industrial refrigeration units. Under these rules, starting in 2022, there was a 150 GWP limit for new or fully remodeled facilities that utilize commercial refrigeration equipment, if they were containing more than 50 pounds of refrigerant, excluding chillers. The California Air Resource Board website shows the following phase-out dates on the final regulation order. The challenge we're facing as an industry is that codes and standards have not caught up with the proposed changes. specifically to allow the safety group A2L refrigerants in equipment. Since most codes and standards are revised on specific multi-year schedules, the industry is trying to get everything updated in time for these phase-outs. So if you have questions about phase-outs and what's going on in one of Norman S. Wright's territories, reach out to your salesperson and we can help you through these changes. So that's an overview of what's going on with refrigerant phase-outs. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.